Hey everybody, this is Andy from Andrew Jackson's Hermitage. I'm sitting here virtually with Marsha Mullin, our Chief Curator. As a lot of you know, we are in an unprecedented time and we're all having to learn how to work from home. So we are going to continue providing you guys with content and things to keep abreast of what's going on at Andrew Jackson's Hermitage. And so I really wanted to take this opportunity to just pick Marsha's brain about a few things today. And so we're very thankful that we have technology that allows us to do that. So, Marsha Mullin, will you give us your title and just kind of a brief snippet of what you do day to day at the Hermitage?
Well, my title is long. I'm the Vice President of Collections and Research and the Chief Curator.
That is a long title.
What I do every day is I watch out for the collections. That's the things in the mansion, the things in the museum exhibits. Unlike some people think when I say I work in collections, they think I'm out scrounging for money. Not that. Anyway, so we catalog the objects and the materials. We keep track of where they are. We make sure they're in good condition. We clean them if they're necessity. We work with outside conservators to do any repairs that get done. I also, as the research part of my job, generally take the lead in projects like the film and the exhibit that we did in the visitor center and things like that.
Okay. Well, that's a long list of things, but I know too that you have worked for the Hermitage for quite some time. How long have you worked for us?
33 years.
What role did you start out in?
Well, I did actually get hired as the curator, but at the time I was hired, there were very few professional staff. There was the CEO and a development person because they were finishing the capital campaign for the visitor center, and then me.
And you.
And the museum store manager.
You've taken on a lot of roles then.
Yes, I've done a lot of different things, that's for sure.
Well, you've been at the site quite a while, seen a lot of changes. What do you think is the most significant change that you have seen since you've been there?
Well, there's really two of them. Building the visitor center was a huge change because previous to that time, all our orientation and exhibit activities took place in kind of odd circumstances. There was a tent where they showed the intro film, and the museum wasn't really a museum. It was just two rooms in a little building. The other big changing experience was the tornado in 1998, which kind of rearranged the landscape.
Yeah, a little bit. But you've never been at the Hermitage during a pandemic, right?
No, this is my first.
Yeah. I think it's a first for many, and let's hope it is our last.
For sure.
So what is the favorite part, your favorite part of the job that you do?
Well, I think overall the best part of it is that I don't do the same thing every day in a row. It's just always different. I've, worked on big projects such as the film and the exhibit and the interior restoration of the Hermitage Mansion. I answer questions from visitors. I answer questions we get via email. I help other staff with information that they need for their projects. So something different is happening every day.
Keeps things interesting.
It does.
Why did you choose to come work for the Hermitage?
Well, I was looking for a new job at the time that they advertised the position, and I had been at a really kind of different kind of history museum, one that was just gallery based and focused more on late 19th and 20th century. So I thought this would make a nice change.
Okay. Tell me what kind of education background you have.
I have a BA in history from Indiana University, and I have a master's in museum studies from Texas Tech University, and then I got a second master's while I was working the previous job at Notre Dame in American Studies.
And when you were in school, what did you foresee doing with that education?
Well, when I started out as an undergrad, I thought I was going to be a librarian. And then I got a job one summer at the Historical Society in South Bend, which is now the History Center of St. Joe County, I think. And it was love at first sight. I just thought, okay, no more libraries. I'm going to be a museum person.
That's awesome. So tell us a little bit about the importance of the Hermitage.
Well, it's very important as part of our national story. Andrew Jackson was really kind of the most important figure in American history from the time of the end of the Founding Fathers era to the Civil War. He just kind of took up a lot of space in there. So we tell an important link in our history that a lot of people don't really think about. They know about the Revolution, they know about the Civil War. They really don't quite know how we got from one to the other. And so that's a great link for the Hermitage to be able to tell that story.
Okay. What is one thing you want people to know about our site?
I think one thing that's really important about it is that it's not just the house, although the house is certainly the centerpiece of everything that we do. We have nearly all of Jackson's farmland. We have other historic buildings. So you get a much broader perspective about the property and what Jackson was doing there than if you were just going to a house that had been hemmed in by a suburban area. You can more feel like what was going on there.
In 19th century America.
Yeah.
19th century American South, I should say.
Yes.
Yes.
And that's another important part of our story is that we talk about Andrew Jackson, of course, because as I said, he was this kind of undeniable major figure of that time period. But when you look at his farm and how he ran his business operations, you can't tell those stories without both the other people in the Jackson family and all of the enslaved workers who worked for Andrew Jackson.
That's right. I know we have thousands of artifacts in our collection. Do you have a favorite?
Yeah, I've always really liked the portrait of Sarah Jackson that was painted by George Healy in 1845. Healy was an American artist who was commissioned by the King of France to go around painting pictures of famous Americans for his gallery at Versailles. And he came to paint Jackson, and for some reason, Jackson asked him to paint a portrait of Sarah, his daughter-in-law, which, you know, he didn't ask him to paint a portrait of his son or his grandchildren, but just his daughter-in-law. And it's a really beautiful picture, and you know what's going on in her life at the time that it was painted. You know, Jackson is dying or has just died, and that's going to cause a huge difference in the way the farm is run and the family is organized. And you can just kind of see all that in her face.
And visitors come to our site, can they see this painting?
Yes, it's on exhibit in the mansion in Andrew Jr. and Sarah's bedroom.
Okay. Why did you might have kind of answered this already, why did you pursue this particular career?
Well, I always have liked history, even when I was a younger child. My grandmother was always telling history stories, mostly about family in the neighborhood and things like that. And it was always just fun to hear. Believe it or not, I loved going around to cemeteries with her because she would tell you about all the different people that were buried there. So history has just always been a love. And as I said, I started out thinking I was going to be a librarian. I guess I never really thought about museums until I actually got the opportunity to work in one and realized that that was the stuff I really wanted to deal with, was that kind of history, not just library history.
Right. Is there one final thing that you want people to know about the Hermitage, why they should visit when we reopen?
It's a really beautiful place. I mean, if you're just looking for a peaceful place to walk around and decompress from all the craziness in the world, it's a beautiful place for that. But it also has such an important story to tell that I think people need to learn and think about, because a lot of the things that happened during Jackson's presidency and his lifetime are still showing up in things that we do or deal with today.
Right. Well, Marsha, thank you for taking time to talk to us this afternoon. It's good to see you digitally. You know, America's just in the middle of, the world is in the middle of just an unprecedented time. We do hope to reopen very soon. I can tell you that we have a lot of just different content that we're working on to put out there to keep everybody connected to us. And again, we're thankful for technology to be able to do that. Please visit our website, thehermitage.com, to keep update with everything we have happening. And if you're not following us on social media, do that as well. You can find us at 7th President on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.